All right, what's up, y'all? Welcome into the LA Sports Brotherhood. It's me, Brian, here with my brother Matthew, and we're here doing our position group previews, and we're doing offensive line today. So, Matt, can you tell us what we got going with the offensive line?
Yeah, so who we've lost, we lost some guys. We lost Justin Dedich, longtime Trojan, lost Jarrett Kingston and Michael Tarquin, two transfers that came over. And we haven't added anyone from the transfer portal. So that leaves the projected starters to Elijah Page at left tackle, Emmanuel Pregnon coming back at left guard, Jonah Monheim moving to center, Eleni Noah at right guard, and Mason Murphy at right tackle. So right off the bat, this is even defense. This is the position group I'm most concerned about, and by a long shot, I am not confident in this group at all. I think of the five, there's two and a half guys that I think can be good. One of which has played one game, Elijah Page, and the other, this is his third position in 3 years at Jonah Monheim, because I liked him at right tackle and left tackle, right guard, and now he's playing center. So that kind of sums up how this unit is. I think right off the bat, biggest concern is right tackle. If you go into game one with Mason Murphy as your right tackle against LSU, Harold Perkins will have 5 sacks. Mason Murphy is not a starting right tackle in the Big Ten. I don't even think for the Pac-12. He was really bad last year, and I mean I can't if there was a statue back there, not Caleb Williams, I can't tell you how many sacks there would have been given up, and he wasn't even the starter. So I think a backup, a swing tackle performing bad, then becoming the right tackle is very frustrating to me. And I don't think he will be, because we better get a tackle in the spring portal. Because if as of right now, this is not a good group, I think in pass pro or running the ball. And yeah, I'm not thrilled about it. I know you feel the same way. What do you think about it?
Yeah, it's very funny to me. All of all the talk of defense, and very rightfully so. There's only been two position group coaches that have explicitly said, "Yeah, we're going to the transfer portal." It was wide receivers and offensive line. It was Dennis Simmons and John Henson. So they know what the deal is. I mean, they're not stupid. But it's very concerning to me because you can't control who goes into the portal. What if no right tackle is in the portal that you want? That's a Big Ten caliber player. We're screwed. And I don't. You're putting a lot of faith. I'm not even putting faith. I doubt they wanted this, but because of lack of recruiting or development, whatever it may be, we're in a position now where we have to rely on kids to leave their schools, and not just because there's going to be a lot of transfers. We have to rely on Big Ten caliber USC starting tackle caliber players to come and transfer here, and that's just asking a lot. We don't really. We have a lot of. Honestly, I've liked the last. Well, the only one I really remember, 2023 class. I liked that group. Alani Noah, you mentioned who he's like projected to be a guard starter. He got a couple starts early in the year last year, presumably to get him acquainted and give him that kind of action. He's a real power guy. That whole class is downhill power blockers, except for Elijah Page, who's kind of both, and I'm actually really excited about him. But I don't know if I want a redshirt freshman starting at left tackle. He's a starter, but I don't know if he's a starting left tackle immediately in the Big Ten. He very well might be, but I'd rather get somebody with experience there and let him develop on the right side, than move to the left and lock it down. So even like the guys that I'm happy about, it's like I wish they didn't have to get put in that position. I wish Page didn't have to be there. Alani Noah, I think, has a potential. Jonah Monheim, have no idea how he's going to be at center. Justin Dedich moved from guard to center, and it was supposed to be like, oh, he's super experienced. He was a very solid guard. It didn't really work out to me, and I don't think he would say it worked out either. Like, it's just tough. Truthfully, it's just tough because Kingston and Tarquin and even Pregnon, who's supposed to be the left guard starter now, I didn't like what I saw from him last year. It's crazy how massive he is. Like they posted the body transformation pics that they've been posting over the spring, or I guess winter workouts, and he's huge, but you just see the muscle rippling under him, and he has that extra offensive lineman layer that a lot of like big dudes do that they have to maintain the weight, and it's crazy. So physically, he has it, but I don't know. He was his pad levels was so high all the time, and he was pulling and he was up, and it just didn't feel like he had a good grasp of the position. But I don't know. Maybe he'll develop. It's just not looking great, if I'm being honest. And it's the most important position group on the field to me and to a lot of people. To everyone that respects football, like the actual game of it and the sport, you know how important the trenches are. The Ahmed, like, I just don't feel comfortable going into the season with this group. But I mean, neither do they. But neither do you, obviously. But I mean, what do you want to go from here? Because we're talking down. Um, I think
Yeah,
rightfully so. But yeah, what do you want to do?
yeah. I mean, it's all about the trenches, like you said. It's all about the trenches. And if you watched our check out our quarterback, our running back previews, we talked about the O line so much. Like,
Yeah,
well, Miller Moss needs protection. We don't feel good about the O line. Running back needs holes. We don't feel good about the O line. We
yeah,
we don't feel good about the O line. It's bad. Like the worst part about it is the guys we feel good about. Like I said, Elijah Page is a guy I feel good about because he was a good recruit and he looks so good in the Holiday
yeah. He
Bowl.
looked really
He
good.
has that frame. He has everything. But he's going to be playing his second game against LSU as the left tackle,
Yeah,
the starting left tackle. The guy who we feel most confident about is a redshirt freshman. And
yeah,
then Monheim, he's been such a good Trojan. He hasn't played center. He hasn't been the starting center yet. And it's like it's so frustrating to see what we have. But what I will say is with this group we have now, we need to go downhill. Pregnon, like you said, incredibly strong. Noah, same thing. They just need to run downhill, have our backs run downhill because they are very strong. And I think Pregnon can get a push, but the way they ran last year would not fit with this O line.
yeah,
So, but they are very physical. They are very strong. I think changing the run scheme to what it was the year before, 2 years ago in 22, could be beneficial for this group we have here. And then also, would you agree that the number one thing is a tackle for the portal? Like that's the one thing you could go after
I would
or need to
100%.
go after?
I would say because
Yeah,
then
so
you can use Murphy as a swingman, and he's not good really, but if you need to put him in for a game, it's not gonna hurt you. You can't have him as your starter. And honestly, the recruits we've had in the interior, the guards, and even Michael Moelis in 23, the center, Zendamela just entered the portal, the prize center from last year, so he's gone. But I like the guard recruit. I like what we have inside depth wise. So if Noah is like showing something, I would probably be fine at least going in with the two guards. But yeah, tackle is 100% a need. It just happens it's a
yeah,
need
because
for
I
everybody.
think
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
if you can get a transfer tackle, so at least let's say Page hits, he's turns out to be the stud we think he is, and then we get a good player on the right tackle. Our pass protection on the edge will be solid for Moss, and then you hope Pregnon and Noah and these guys inside can at least help in the run game. Noah can, because Noah has a lot of potential. I mean, that guy is huge. He's physical. He's nasty,
Yeah,
and he's looked good. He's just looked like a freshman.
yeah,
He looked
he's
not
he's
polished.
young.
If you can coach him up, and then if just prayed Monheim can make a snap on like Diedish last year. I mean, it was so rough.
Yeah,
But like I said, I love Monheim and what he's done for this O line, all these position changes, and been good at really all these different positions.
yeah,
But yeah, I think this is going to be all about the portal for this. I think if what what will it take? I'll send a question to you. What will it take in the portal for you to feel good about this O line day one against LSU?
that's a good question. It would need to be like a Caden Proctor type transfer. Maybe not that high. Yeah, he had a mixed bag with Alabama, but he's going to be incredible. He was very young. He started as a true freshman. By the way, I brought him up kind of because I was thinking about him. We're asking Elijah Page essentially as a true freshman. Granted, like a full year and a half of like building his body, but true freshman level experience to go up against the LSU teams that were low key eating Caden Proctor up. That's why I'm like, okay, what are we doing? But it'd have to be a genuine starter, not even starter, because we've had starters come in. Marco Tarkin was a starter. If you think back, Bobby Haskins in 22 was a starter. Like they've had experience. I need a good player. I need someone that a team doesn't want to lose. I can't name them because I don't know who they are, like which guys are going to be in the portal. But it needs to be a tackle. It needs to be a tackle that would move Page to right tackle. I would be fine if it's just a right tackle, like if it's just a right tackle we bring in, but it has to be someone that's good enough to play left tackle. To me, for me to be like, okay, I feel solid. This group's going to be good, and it's no question we need a tackle. But for me to feel good about yeah, it has to be someone that will move Page to the right.
Yeah, the worst part about all this is like my for me to feel good, my dream would be to have two of our guys move. Like I would to feel good about this, I would want, like you said, a good left tackle. So Page would be a right tackle. And then I would want a center, a freaking center,
Yeah,
and I'd move Monheim at right guard where he really belongs. Then I would feel good. We have two tackles.
it's
We have
true.
an actual center, and Monheim would be a guard, and then Pregnon maybe improves.
Yeah,
But Monheim's been taking center snaps all spring. Page has been at left tackle all spring. Maybe that's not as big of a deal, but it's just really this. It is it pisses me off the way we treated the center position because Nealon was incredible for us, and like okay, we'll move Didic over. Now we'll move Monheim over. Just get a center.
yeah,
It's I mean it's like it's I don't understand it, and I was so excited about Zendamela, and now he's transferred. That doesn't really affect this year, but kind of I thought he was the future at that position.
yeah.
I don't know. It's because realistically, we're not going to get a center through the portal and an incredible left tackle. I think we will get a tackle and maybe another inside guy to battle. But yeah, I don't know. It's just we've highlighted a lot of concerns about this current team in terms of the projections. I feel the same way. Henson is the one on the entire staff. He's the one coach that's on thin ice with me. He hasn't recruited well. The transfers he's brought in last year were all awful, and including the year before with Haskins, he didn't. Nealon and Didic was actually good at guard, and of course Voorhees, who I love and
Yeah.
miss. Those aren't his guys. Like those are the only players who've been good for us, and those are not his
Yeah,
guys.
it's true.
Page. I'm not to be completely negative. The sophomores I feel pretty good about, like Page, Noah, Bonuelos.
Yeah.
I think these guys, the young guys and the freshmen, those guys all have potential. They're all huge, but he has not recruited well either. So he's missed on transfers. He hasn't recruited, and he has. We'll see how he develops Page and those young guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not saying he needs to be fired tomorrow, but I'm not thrilled with his coaching so far. What do you think?
No, 100%. I agree. This is probably the only position group I envision where I'm like actively not great, not super high on the future because of the coach. Um, Henson was brought over here because he was like a guy that has connections and can develop. And development has yet to be seen because and to be fair to him, because his first class is only sophomores now. So if Noah shows up and he's good, and like we see even Tobias Raymond was a guy that he specifically was like he targeted him as this is a guy I'm going to develop. He was like 250 when he recruited him. He's like 315, 320 now. His body completely changed. So if these guys that he recruited are showing legitimate steps of improvement and development, then it's fine. Because offensive line recruiting, obviously, you want and need the high 5-star, like the franchise left tackles, like those types of guys. You need those to be the upper echelon. But of all the positions, there's so many more like 3-star guys that you go bring in. You keep them around for 4 or 5 years because those are the players that stay the longest, and you make them good. So you don't need a bunch of super high super high ranked offensive linemen, high school recruits. The thing that worries me is that, like you said, every single one of his transfers has been bad. Pregnon's the only one that's stuck around. It's actually crazy. He's literally the only transfer he's brought in that's been here for more than 1 year. And Haskins was ironically probably the best, and he wasn't great. He was splitting time with Cortland Ford in 22. Whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry to cut you off. His best player so far was the weak spot of that incredible O line.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
It's like you mentioned, it's people think about it because they were high on him because the offensive line was so good in 22. But it's like, those weren't his guys. Those are, ironically, the offensive line coach that you hated. Those are his guys. So yeah, he's not gonna. Offensive line coaches don't get fired during the year, but if they're not performing again, and whichever transfers they bring in, because they're going to bring in transfers, and they don't perform again, I can't. Even if some of the guys he brought in recruited from high school have been developing, you gotta go. If you miss on five, well, for right now, I'm considering he's missed on everybody. If Pregnon's better, then I'll retract that. Pregnon was not good last year, so that's why I'm off on him. He's missed on every transfer. If he continues to do that, it's unacceptable. The evaluation at that point, like, I don't know what you're watching. If you're gonna be consistently handpicking guys that have college tape, and all of them come in and underperform, or straight up just were bad in general, like, that just can't happen. So yeah, I agree. This is a group that you just can't accept this level for a team that's supposed to be so great on offense and they're supposed to be USC. Like, that, those three letters, they mean something. They're supposed to be meaningful. And you can't have this type of confusion on the O line. Now, 2 years now, they're bringing back two guys, and only two or three guys, and only one of them is playing the same position as last year, and that Pregnon, and he wasn't really good at it. So it's like, I don't know. We've said a lot, and I truly, I think if we keep going, we're just gonna keep saying similar stuff. But what do you have next? Is there anything you got, like, any wrapping up conversation you want to have?
Um, Not really. Just yeah, we're very concerned. I think, like you said, it's a lot is riding on this year for him. If his transfer guys continue to suck, if his first class doesn't really improve, then he's officially on the chopping block, because it's like you said, USC, we're one of the best programs ever. We're a blue blood. With Lincoln Riley, he's always going to have receivers, running backs, and quarterbacks. It's always going to be there. If you can't get the trenches right, then it's just such a waste. So they need to fix this. They need to fix the trenches, especially with the juice and the buzz and all the good stuff that's happened with defense in terms of the staff and the recruiting. This is the weak spot of USC right now in terms of the staff and recruiting and all that. And I don't know. It's not a good group. It's not, like you said, or like we both said, with recruiting and just college football in general. It's all about juice. It's all about which direction you're trending. This one's going downhill, in my opinion, and we
Yeah,
need to. It's the most important thing that we can have is the trenches. So
yeah,
yeah, it's not great.
yeah. Truly, and this sounds really silly because it doesn't have any impact on this year. I need to see on one of these upcoming unofficials, or like during the summer, the official visits. I need to see like a top 247 type guy on the offensive line commit. There needs to be some type of momentum, or like we need to land a transfer. Something has to happen. These vibes cannot continue throughout the summer, because I think there's going to be a lot of reports of talking about how good the defensive line looks, and that's just going to make me even more nervous, if I'm being honest. So yeah, that's the type of stuff, like, spring game last year should have been a tell that the defense was going to be horrible, because that offensive line was getting like 6 yards of push. It was kind of ridiculous. Spring game this year is going to tell me a whole lot, because the defensive line is improved, but it's not that much improved. So if defensive line is dominating, I'm gonna have very big questions, even more. Not even just questions. I'm gonna be straight out concerned. So yeah, we're going into a new era with a new quarterback, new receivers, new running backs. Honestly, this is frankly a brand new offense, except for at this O line, and that's the one position that I wanted new stuff. So yeah, the offense goes as the offensive line goes, in my opinion. I appreciate y'all for checking it out. We have a bunch of other videos coming out. Really, spring game is gonna start a true get the ball rolling moment with SC stuff. Super excited. We got a lot of stuff coming out. We got defense previews. We got the receivers coming out next. Yeah, so thanks so much for checking it out, and we see you soon. Bye on.